Fear. Let's talk about it today. Hello, I'm so glad you're here. My name is Brittany Cole, and I am a speaker, coach, and consultant. I have the absolute pleasure of working with diverse professionals, particularly millennials, to help them thrive in the workplace. And so I do that through one-on-one coaching. I love speaking and sharing information about that as well. And then I also have the pleasure of consulting and helping organizations to build out strategies and programs to help to develop and retain diverse millennial talent. Listen, we are leaving companies left and right. And so I absolutely love working with organizations to devise strategies to keep that talent in your organization and to help us, right? Because it's a partnership. It's on the organization, but it's also on us to develop the leadership tools that we need, right? To be intentional about our professional development, to thrive where we are as we're growing to get to the next place. And so I'm happy that you're here. I wanted to share with you a little bit about the video that I posted last night. I will confess, I intentionally posted it late last night. Like super late on a Sunday, hoping that the algorithm for Instagram would work in my favor, and most of you would miss it, and boy was I wrong. And so all day today, especially on my drive into work, meeting someone on my team, God just really dealt with me about fear and about the fact that it took me 8 months to share that little 3.5 minute snippet that I shared last night. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about fear and really just practically unpack it. Right? Unpack it, share a little bit about the conversation that we were having on the drive here. And oftentimes when we hear about fear, we hear that acronym, false evidence appearing real. And I love that one. God gave me another one today that I want to share with you. That fear is forgetting every assigned revelation. Let that sink in. Forgetting every assigned, you didn't choose it, but it has your name on it. It's meant for you. No one else can do it but you. Every assigned revelation. We act like we forget it. It's almost like you walk into your job and your manager's like, Brittany, I've got this big assignment for you. I mean, it is going to be absolutely transformational for your career. And in fact, it's not only going to be transformational for you, but it's going to help the other folks on your team get promoted. And when those folks get promoted, it's going to help them promote other people. And so I really need you to get on this project. I really need you to do it. You have access to whatever tools and resources that you need. I'm here to help you. We'll walk through this together, but we really need to make sure that this gets done. It's vitally important, not just for your career, but for everyone else that's working to get promoted. We need you to get this done, right? Most of us, if we got a big project, we felt like it was in line with what we were good at, it's going to help us, and other people are like, yeah, of course, cool. But walking in fear is like telling that boss, hearing it and being like, oh, okay, thanks, and moving on. Not taking any action on it, not trying to figure out what the first step is, acting like we didn't even hear it. Like, oh, okay, cool. Who, me? You want me to You want me to help them get promoted? But that's how it is. That's how we are when we have an assigned revelation, a vision that God has given us that has our name on it. So we know, we have a glimpse into what this thing looks like, but it's like we act like we didn't even hear. We act like we just forgot. We ain't hear you say nothing. So I was like, ooh, Lord, okay. So I began to kind of just go through and just unpack, like, okay, what is it that we're really afraid of? Like, let's just talk about it. Let's just have a practical conversation about what is it that we're really afraid of? Let's just unpack the fear, right? Let's just call it out so we can deal with it, right? We're adults. Let's just deal with it. So I think the first thing that we're afraid of when we think about, moving out on that assigned revelation is failure, right? This fear that if we step out, if we do this, we're going to fail. And like, what is that really? What does that really mean? Well, I don't necessarily believe that it's failure. I believe that when we step out on something and it doesn't turn out the way that we thought that it would, we're just back in the same place, but with more insight. We're back in the same place, the place that we know what this place feels like. It's like, okay, if I don't take the assignment, if I don't move forward on the project that's going to help me and others get promoted, then I know what this role is like because I'm in this role, I'm doing it. So why would I not take the chance to learn something new, even if I don't get the intended result? Because the next time around, I have better insight. It's just like, let's say you're launching your first event and you're like, you know what? I launched it and I had 2 people show up. I'm going to call that, I failed. I was a failure. Maybe not. Maybe it just means you have better information about how to market your event. Maybe you didn't have the right target audience. Maybe your price point wasn't set in the right range. to increase your ticket sales. Maybe you didn't give people enough advance notice. Maybe you didn't have the right marketing strategy to get the word out about your event, right? All of those insights allow you to be able to plan a better program the next time. It's what companies pay millions with an M of dollars for. It's called market research. Right? And I don't know about you, but everything that I've done that's been classified as a failure has been market research that's been tried, tested, and now I know, right? Now I can iterate and move forward, but we can't be afraid of failure, right? So we have to really unpack failure. Like, what does that mean? What does failure look like? Like, really call that thing out, all right? The second thing I think sometimes we're afraid of is success. Hello, imposter syndrome. So let's really deal with this one. So what is success? I think you have to first answer that question before you answer the question of, what is the success that you're afraid of? And for me, success is bearing fruit, right? If you are successful at something, then you're bearing fruit. And if you're bearing good fruit, because we all know there are two kinds of fruit, if you're bearing good fruit, then the fruit on a tree has more to do with the person that's going to consume the fruit and less to do with the tree. So if we are bearing good fruit, then it must mean that the fruit comes from a good tree. So if I'm moving out on a thing and I'm seeing positive results, it must mean like we need to just get rid of imposter syndrome, because it must mean that it's coming from a good tree, but the fruit has less to do with the tree and more to do with providing productive fuel for someone else, right? When you go to the produce section and you're looking for some fruit, you're looking for good fruit because good fruit provides good nourishment for those that consume it. So your success then has less to do with you and more to do with those who will be beneficiaries of your success. Like your success or the reflection back on the tree is just a byproduct, right, of being able to properly nourish someone else. I hope that makes sense to you. And so it's almost as if you believe that, it's almost as if you have a fear of success, it's slick selfish, right? It's almost selfish because it means that you're making the success about you or about the tree and not about or less about the others that you've been called to nourish, right? And so we have to get real and truly unpack this fear of success, right? And what that truly means, because at the end of the day, the fruit has less to do with us, right? It's really all about how are we nourishing other people, right? So that's being afraid of success. Unpack it, let's deal with it, let's call that thing out. And then the last thing that I think sometimes we're afraid of is our past, right? And listen, all of the dots will connect. God will still get the glory out of our bad decisions. Can I tell you something? I've gotten so many wonderful, inspiring, just heartfelt messages from people that were blessed by me sharing something 8 months later that I probably should have shared last year, but they were still blessed. Even though I moved in fear and it took me 8 months to make the post, people were still blessed by the timeliness of when I did post it. So listen, like, you are not more powerful. Like, your failures aren't more powerful than the sovereign God that we serve. And so just know that your past, what you used to do, who you used to be, those things that you used to say, all of that should really ground us, right? It should help us to remain humble, right? Because we remember. It should ground us, and it should also remind us, and then it should almost reward us. We should almost have a spirit of celebration because we remember, right? And we're grounded in the fact that I used to be her. I used to do that. I used to say that. I used to go there. But now that's not me anymore. Why? Because I'm better. I'm wiser. I'm smarter. I'm more disciplined, right? And that should be a sense of fuel really for us to move forward and take the next step. All right. So I hope that was helpful for you. Listen, I would love to hear from you in the comments. What else are you afraid of? Right? So we talked about being afraid of failure. We talked about being afraid of success. We talked about being afraid of our past. Maybe there's something else that you're afraid of. Let us know in the comments. We want to help you unpack it. I want to help you unpack it so we can all move forward and thrive together. Listen, and as we're calling this thing out, right, I want us to also call out what is our next immediate action. Like, now that we've called out, okay, I know what it is that's keeping me going in circles, right, in my fear, and what I'm afraid of, but that I really shouldn't be afraid of because I've unpacked that thing and I understand I've called it out. Then what's your next immediate action? I would love to hear from you. So I'll share with you briefly mine. So they're twofold. One, I'm so excited. I am working on it, launching a new business. It's a bit of a rebrand from Style by Brit, but also a launch into a bigger space, a higher dimension. And so I'm just really thrilled about it. I've put a lot of notes on paper and on Word docs and Google Docs. And so my next immediate action is to get all that over to a graphic designer that can package it up and get my website going. And so that's one. And the second for me is really filling out my speaker calendar. I'm owning this space. I'm committed to walking in my gift and walking in the assigned revelation over my life. And so I would love for you to be a part of that journey. Listen, referrals are golden. And so if you know of someone that has an event coming up, a conference, a church, or even the company that you work for, if they bring in outside speakers, I would love to come and share again around three main topics related to leadership development. So one being personal branding, the other being executive presence, and the third being resilient leadership. How do you fail forward with fortitude are my three core topics. Always happy, and even within those, to customize the talk for your group. And so I would love for you to share my information, or if you know of someone that has a call for speakers, let me know that information as well. All right. So I look forward to staying in touch with you. Again, you can find me at www.stylebybrit.com. That's Brit with 2 T's for now, but stay tuned. I look forward to sharing more with you soon, and let's start together. Till next time, take care. Bye.